we're going to be counting down my top 25. I made a list of 25 movies. My top 25 most anticipated films of 2023. I like, after we talk about the bad, after we get the negativity out of our systems, talking about Velma, we can move on to the positives of art and get really excited about the things that people actually put passion and creativity into, hopefully. And we're getting excited about this year in film. And every year there's stuff to be excited about, and 2023 is no exception. There's so many filmmakers and films to love, and so many things to anticipate and to yeah. So a couple caveats before I get into this list. Not everything. In fact, most things aren't absolutely confirmed to come out this year. These are things I look up on IMDb, and I'm kind of guesstimating that they will come out this year. And so, yeah. So obviously no, super firm things there with a lot of these. Some of these are pretty confirmed to come out this year. But yeah. And so I feel like I had other caveats. Oh yeah, and then these are my most anticipated, but keep in mind there's so many new filmmakers coming out with great films, and I'm also just excited for things that I am not even aware about yet. So always good to keep that in mind of just being excited for shit, to see new shit, right? Anyways, I kind of compiled this list, based off of, filmmakers I like and actors I'm excited to see in new things. And yeah, okay. That's enough fucking before shit. Okay, number 25. I put this at number 25. It would be higher if I knew it was for sure coming out this year, but it's still in pre-production. At least that's what it says on IMDb. And so this is the one I am least confident is coming out this year. I'm just kind of hoping it does, and so that's why it's at 25. The rest of them are pretty solid. I'm pretty sure all of the other movies are at the very least in post-production, but this one's the only one in pre-production. Or in production with some of them. But yeah. So 25 is The Trashers, which is a movie written and directed by Cooper Raiff, who wrote and directed one of my seventh favorite movie of 2020, Shithouse. That was a great coming of age college comedy slash drama, comedy, romance a little bit. And he wrote, directed, and starred in it. It was super funny. Cha Cha Real Smooth, that came out last year. That was the iTunes, or not iTunes, the Apple TV movie that he did. I thought that one was really charming. He was, again, really good in it. Great script and everything. I didn't like it as much as Shithouse, but yeah. So The Trashers is going to be his next movie, and it sounds super different. Let me look up the. I know roughly what it's about, but let me just read this off here for you. So it's going to be his first movie that isn't starring him. It's not written by him. It's only directed by him. Follows the rise and fall of Jimmy Gallant, a garbage tycoon from Danbury, Connecticut, and partner of the Genovese crime family. So it's a crime, like mafia type movie, it looks like. And David Harbour is playing the main guy. And then Cooper Hoffman from Licorice Pizza and Olivia DeJonge from Elvis is they're gonna be in it. And super excited for this whenever it comes out, hopefully this year. I think Cooper Raiff is such a talented director. I think he's a great writer, but apparently he's not writing this. Yeah, so I'm super interested to see what he's like just as a director, because in all of the other stuff, it's been so much like of his personality is in the film, with him being the writer, director, and star. And so I'm very invested in seeing how he is as a pure director. I think it'll be really, really interesting. Okay. 24 is Infinity Pool, which is directed by Brandon Cronenberg, who did my eighth favorite movie, ninth favorite movie of 2020. I have these in my head, bro. It was Possessor. Possessor was a kind of crazy, sci-fi dystopian horror action film. It was super gory. He's the son of David Cronenberg, who's this big fucking weirdo horror guy, and he just had a movie this past year called Crimes of the Future, and then Brandon's next movie is coming out this year. It stars Alexander Skarsgård from The Northman, True Blood. He was in a movie I loved called The Diary of a Teenage Girl. You guys all know who Alexander Skarsgård is. And then it has Mia Goth, from Pearl and X. So I think it looks really cool. There's a trailer out for it, which most of these don't have trailers. But yeah, Infinity Pool, I think it's coming out relatively soon. But it looks just as fucking weird as Possessor. It looks, like it's going to be bloody and, bizarre and trippy and horror. And, the performances look like they're going to be super interesting and fun, especially Mia Goth. She gets to be fucking weird again, and I love it when she's weird. And so I'm just hoping for a really, weird, bizarre movie from Brandon Cronenberg, because I really like his last one. So very, very excited for that. Number 23 is one that a lot of people have already seen. So it's more just getting a wide release this year. It's actually been out for like a year or like maybe 2 years, just doing like film festivals and stuff. And that's Showing Up by Kelly Reichardt, director who another director I really like. She did I've seen a few of her movies. I saw her first, I think it was her first feature. It was called River of Grass. That's a great film. But then her most recent films before this were First Cow, which I really loved. It was a very interesting kind of like slow burn movie, but it was just very beautiful to look at. The performances by John Magaro and Orion Lee. The lead performances in that were really good. It made me really want to eat biscuits. Just beautiful film. And then Certain Women, which is another great movie with very amazing understated performances from Laura Dern, and Kristen Stewart's in it. And then there's another actress who she was so fucking good. Actually, let me look this up, because she was my favorite performance in this movie. Oh, Michelle Williams is in it too. Yeah, she works with Michelle Williams a lot. Okay, let me find this person. Lily Gladstone. Yes, okay. Lily Gladstone, who's going to be in another movie coming up on this list. I'm sure you guys are probably more familiar with that one. She was my favorite performance in Certain Women. Anyways, Showing Up is, it stars Michelle Williams, directed by Kelly Reichardt, and, it's been getting, I think, pretty good reviews. But I'm excited for it to have a wide release so I can finally see it. Michelle Williams plays like an artist, I think, and who's struggling to, I think, get her water going in her apartment or something. Anyways, I just like Kelly Reichardt's style. She's very interesting. Great voice in the indie film world. If you haven't seen any of her films, I highly recommend them. She has very, slow burn films, but they're very thoughtful, very well shot, and the performances are always, understated and very good. So, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Bucket Knot. I'm trying to. I haven't gotten the chat thing working again. I have to reapply it. I gotta figure that out. But I decided to stream before figuring it out. So, um, but okay, number 22 is Sesame Street. I am really looking forward to the Sesame Street movie. It's going to have Anne Hathaway, who I love. Bo Burnham is writing at least some of the songs, which I'm super excited about. That's actually the main reason I'm invested in this movie. But also, I love the Sesame Street characters. They're always fun to see. It's like the Muppets and Sesame Street. They're kind of in the same boat, right? It'll be really fun. And then who's the director of this movie? Sesame Street. Go down to Sesame Street. Jonathan Krysell, who did. Oh, he was a writer on Portlandia. That's cool. Director. What is he directed? What movies has he directed? Okay, so he's done a lot of TV. Baskets. Oh, he directed like a lot of episodes of Baskets. I liked Baskets. Okay, and he directed most of Portlandia, it looks like. Okay, so director of most of Portlandia and Baskets is directing the Sesame Street movie, which is very interesting. I'm excited to see it. So, him mixed with Bo Burnham and Anne Hathaway, and I saw Chance the Rapper's going to be in it. That's fun. Very, very excited for the Sesame Street movie. Hopefully it comes out this year. Number 21 is Leave the World Behind, directed by Sam Esmail, who created Mr. Robot and directed most of the episodes of that. And then he also did another movie, I think back in 2014, called Comet, starring Justin Long and Emmy Rossum, Sam Esmail's wife, I'm pretty sure. So Leave the World Behind. I don't know much about it other than it's directed by him, and it's apparently a family drama starring Mahershala Ali, Ethan Hawke, and Julia Roberts, which that's a fucking stacked cast already. Super pumped to see them all in a movie together. Directed by Sam Esmail. Oh, he also did Homecoming, or created it. I think he had something to do with it. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm very excited to see him do another feature film. I don't think he's done one since Comet. And now with Mr. Robot, I think Comet was done before Mr. Robot, so I think now that he's done that, he probably has access to a lot more, and he's just, I don't know, probably grown a lot. So super excited to see his next thing. Number 20 is one that I'm sure is on most people's anticipated list, and that's Dune Part 2. Not much to really say here. I'm just excited to see what happens next. Never read the books. I was a fan of the first one. I really liked Dune, and so Timothée Chalamet is going to be great. Excited to see more Zendaya. Hopefully she gets to really act in this one. And apparently, like I said, I haven't read the books, but or the book. I know there's multiple though. But apparently the part 2 is supposed to get pretty nuts. So excited to see that. Not much more to be said. So 19 is Napoleon, directed by Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott is probably one of my favorite filmmakers of like big historical movies. Obviously he's got, Gladiator. He did Master and Commander, right? I don't know. And then, his last movie, not his last movie. His last movie was House of Gucci, which I thought was fun. Wasn't great, but I genuinely loved The Last Duel. Very, very much loved that movie. Great movie. And then The Martian, which he did before that, was pretty good. I really liked The Martian. And then he did All the Money in the World, which that was okay. That was just okay. But yeah, Napoleon I'm really excited for. Joaquin Phoenix starring as Napoleon Bonaparte. Ridley Scott doing the directing. Um, Vanessa Kirby I think is going to be in it, and I like her, so shaping up to hopefully be a good movie. Not much more to be said. 18 is Fingernails, which I mostly picked because I'm really excited about this cast. It's going to star Jessie Buckley, who I think is one of the most interesting actresses working right now. Her performance in I'm Thinking of Ending Things was amazing. One of my favorite performances of that year. And then same thing with in 2021, her performance in The Lost Daughter was also amazing. And then she's had some other ones where Wild Rose, she was very, very good in that. I think. And then, she also had a supporting role in that Tom Hardy show, Taboo. That was the first time I think I'd seen her in something, and I immediately noticed her. I was like, oh my God, she's like so talented. So Jessie Buckley is just such a talented actress. I'm excited to see anything she does. But it also stars Riz Ahmed from Nightcrawler and Sound of Metal, and some other stuff. Very excited to see him again, and Jeremy Allen White, which I haven't seen The Bear yet. That's on my list. It's actually the next show I'm going to watch, so keep you updated on on my feelings about that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to like it. Everybody's telling me I will. So, but yeah, I loved him from Shameless. I didn't finish Shameless. I got pretty tired of it, but the only reason I watched as long as I did was because of him. So, I really, really enjoy him as an actor. Now, who directs Fingernails? That is my next question. Oh, I also thought okay, it's a drama sci-fi. I thought the synopsis was interesting. So Anna, played by Buckley, increasingly suspects that her relationship with her longtime partner may not actually be a real thing. In an attempt to improve things, she secretly embarks on a new assignment working at a mysterious institute designed to incite and test the presence of romantic love in increasingly desperate couples. So it's a drama sci-fi, which leads me to believe it's something kind of like along the lines of almost like a Black Mirror episode. So very interested in that. It'll be cool to see that. Okay, 17. The trailer actually came out like a day or two ago after I'd already made this list, and it just like cemented my excitement. So 17 is Beau is Afraid from Ari Aster, which it's interesting because I really like Hereditary, and I appreciate Midsommar. Both movies are movies where I don't love them quite as much as most people. I think they're both pretty well made. I think, yeah. So I'm not a huge Ari Aster fan. So I'm not gonna try and pretend to, be this huge Ari Aster guy. But I will say when Beau is Afraid is a movie. Okay, I'll be a little more transparent and say, I thought a lot of the most effective parts of his other two movies, I felt like were too heavily inspired for me. Hereditary. When I get the hankering to watch Hereditary, I'm really just getting the hankering to watch Rosemary's Baby. And when I want to watch Midsommar, I'm really just wanting to watch The Wicker Man. But Beau is Afraid, when I heard what it was about, which for a while it was just like, it said a decade-spanning portrait of one of the wealthiest entrepreneurs, and it was still classified as like a horror. And it said it was going to be 4 hours long. And it used to be called Disappointment Boulevard, but then it was changed to Beau is Afraid. I was like, that sounds really fucking interesting. And I don't have a good reference for what that would, like another horror movie. So I don't think it'll feel too inspired by anything. And then they changed the name to Beau's Afraid. That first poster came out with Joaquin Phoenix as a little boy, de-aged. It was weird and unsettling in the right way. And like, you know, it really works for making you feel weird, I guess. And then the trailer came out, and I think it looks amazing. I think it looks so good. It's kind of, I mean, if I were to compare it to anything, it's almost like Ari Aster doing a like a Charlie Kaufman type thing, like a Synecdoche, New York. It looks like if Ari Aster were to do a Synecdoche, New York or something, which I'm super on board for. So, yeah, very excited for that. Okay, 16. God, I need to start moving faster. I feel like I'm talking so fucking much. Okay, 16 is The Toxic Avenger, directed by Macon Blair, who directed I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore, starring Melanie Lynskey and Elijah Wood. Underrated hidden gem on Netflix. You should check it out. It's a fun movie. Yeah, so Toxic Avenger, for those who don't know, is based off of it's a trauma film. It's a trauma property. They're like super cheaply made horror type things, super bloody, gory, all that kind of stuff. And Macon Blair kind of comes from that family of being able to appreciate that kind of stuff. That's what I like so much about I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. And so he's making a Toxic Avenger reboot, I think, starring Kevin Bacon. It's going to have Jacob Tremblay, Peter Dinklage. There's some other people that are going to be in it. I'm struggling to remember right now. And I'm just really excited to see what he does. Elijah Wood's going to be in it. And is it produced by Elijah Wood's company? Let me check here. The Toxic Avenger. Jane Levy. Okay. Let's see. Who's producing this? Produced by... Okay, it's not produced by Elijah Wood. He is in it, though. Wait, who's it produced by? Let's see. Troma. Oh, okay. Troma's still... Yeah. So... very excited to, see what happens with this one. It'll be really fun when it comes out. As a horror fan, as, just a kind of weirdo, whatever fan, I'm into shit like this. If you haven't seen any movies produced by Elijah Wood, I think probably his biggest movie that he's produced, I'm pretty sure, is Mandy. So I'm sure a lot of you have seen that. If you haven't, it's very good. Another one that I really like, and I have some friends who also love this movie, so we all kind of joke about it, is if you ever have seen The Greasy Strangler, directed by Jim Hosking. That's a very, not for everybody, but it's a very interesting movie, and I love it. I love it so much. So, okay. 15, another horror director, or like big horror appreciator, which... Interesting news came out about this recently. Borderlands, directed by Eli Roth. Now, why is this so high on my anticipated list? I'm just really interested in how this is gonna turn out. To be honest, like, this is the only one that's really high on my anticipated list. Not because, like, I am excited to see it, but I'm mostly excited to see it just to see how it turns out. I'm really interested in what this movie's gonna be. So Eli Roth is a super interesting choice as the director of a Borderlands movie. I'm very excited about him being the director of the Borderlands movie. He did, The Green Inferno, Hostel. I keep wanting to say Hostile. Hostel, The Green Inferno, Knock Knock, and then his most accessible movie, I guess his most recent one too, I'm pretty sure, is The House with a Clock in Its Walls. It's basically like a kid's horror movie, starring Jack Black and Cate Blanchett. Very fun movie, highly recommend it. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what he does with a Borderlands film. I think Borderlands actually lends itself really well to a movie. I don't love the idea of making video games into movies where you would be adapting the story of the game, because most oftentimes game stories just can't be very good movie stories. Like Uncharted, right? Uncharted is just like a video game developer wanting to make an Indiana Jones game, but they didn't have the rights, so they made it and called it something else. That's kind of how I feel. Same thing with, like, I don't know, The Last of Us. Like, The Last of Us was a really fun game, and now they have that show coming out, and I hope it's good. I hope everything's good. But like, also, like, I don't know, like the idea of like father and daughter figure characters being in an apocalyptic event of sorts, that's been done like a few times. Like, it's not like crazy. It was just like made for a really good game, right? Like I don't think like making it into a show is gonna break anything, right? Whereas Borderlands, like, there's a really cool world to explore there, and you could take the world and lore of Borderlands and have completely original characters and still call it Borderlands. You know what I mean? And so I think it's more adaptable into a film for that reason. And so that's why I'm excited about it. And then also the cast is really interesting. Cate Blanchett, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kevin Hart, Jack Black as Claptrap, which I think is really fun. Ariana Greenblatt is playing Tiny Tina, and I know she's coming up. She's gonna have another movie with Adam Driver, I'm pretty sure, soon. And then Janina Gavankar. I don't know. I really like her. She's great. She was in Blind Spotting and The League. I like her when she pops up and stuff. Anyways, yeah, Borderlands hopefully is gonna be pretty good. I'm just very interested to see how it turns out. I know there's a story of like Tim Miller is apparently directing the reshoots. I don't really care. Anyways, okay, I gotta start moving faster. Holy shit. Okay. Sorry, that's like super annoying. Okay, 14, Dumb Money, directed by Craig Gillespie, however you pronounce it. He directed I, Tanya, Lars and the Real Girl, I think Fright Night, the remake, and then he did Cruella. Didn't love Cruella, absolutely adored I, Tanya. I remember liking Lars and the Real Girl, though it's been a while since I've seen it. But yeah, so Dumb Money is him directing a movie about the GameStop stock shit that went down like a year or two ago now. And it stars Paul Dano, Sebastian Stan, Seth Rogen, I think. A lot of actors are going to be a part of it. Oh, Pete Davidson's going to be in it. And I think that'll just be really interesting. I'm very interested to see what he does. Seems like it'll be like if I, Tanya was like a Goodfellas for Tanya Harding, this will be like like The Big Short with like GameStop. So interesting. Hopefully it's good. Okay, 13, Hitman, directed by Richard Linklater. This is on here because Richard Linklater's like one of my favorite directors. I credit him as being the filmmaker who got me into film, or at least got me in, like, made me decided I wanted to make films. I love, Boyhood, the Before trilogy, School of Rock is one of my favorite movies of all time. Dazed and Confused, everybody wants some. You could go on for Waking Life. So much good shit, and he's such an interesting director, and he's always keeping things super fresh. Apollo 10.5 was such a good, interesting film that went so under the radar. It was great. And so this movie is going to be, it sounds interesting. Glenn Powell from Top Gun Maverick, and then he was also in Everybody Wants Some. another, Richard Linklater movie. They wrote it together, and it's based off of an article, I guess it's a true story about, it's not like Hitman the video game, I guess, is what I should say, but it's about a dude who, he would like pose as a hitman online apparently, and people would hire him to do hits, and he would arrest the people hiring him to do hits. And so this is super different for Richard Linklater. He's never done anything like this before, like a crime type thing. And I'm just excited to see him do it. And I think Glenn Powell is a super charismatic actor. I like it when he pops up and stuff. I remember noticing him back in when he was in Scream Queens. I thought, like, damn, like, he's like, I don't know, I like this guy. He's like just very charismatic. So yeah. 12 is Asteroid City. I'm not going to talk a ton about this one because it's pretty self-explanatory. New Wes Anderson movie. If you like him, you do. Most people do. I really like Wes Anderson. Anytime he does something, he's one of those directors where I always forget how much I love him until I watch one of his movies. Like, it's one thing where I'm like, oh yeah, the Wes Anderson shtick. I feel like his name is devalued by the people who try to do his thing. You know what I mean? Like, you watch a movie that's like trying to do a Wes Anderson thing, right? And then you kind of are like, yeah, they're doing a Wes Anderson thing. And then it just makes you like, it in your brain, you kind of subconsciously like devalue Wes Anderson as a filmmaker because you think that he's like his imitators. But then you watch one of his movies. Like, I remember watching The French Dispatch, and I was like, oh yeah, like, I fucking forgot. Like, this dude is like crazy good at this shit. Like, he has his one thing and he does it so well. And so Asteroid City looks like it might be his biggest movie to date. It's got a huge cast. I'm not even gonna begin to tell you. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. 11, this is probably the top of a lot of people's lists, is Oppenheimer, from Christopher Nolan. He's doing his crazy practical effects setting off a real bomb shit. It's a biopic about the dude who created the atomic bomb. Cillian Murphy is going to be in it. Pretty cool. 10 and 9 I'm just going to do as like a kind of pairing. Although I'm actually very unconfident that both of these will be dropping this year. I know for sure 9 will be, and that's Poor Things, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. And 10 is a movie called And, A-N-D, also directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. He did The Favorite, which was amazing, The Lobster, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, Dogtooth, and then the other shit that I can't remember. Yorgos Lanthimos is a super interesting filmmaker. I love his brand of humor. His movies are so otherworldly and weird. And and Poor Things, I've been excited for this movie for like a year or two now. Emma Stone is playing a weird Frankenstein lady, and Willem Dafoe is going to be a crazy mad scientist, and there's going to be a lot of sex apparently, and that just sounds interesting. And Margaret Qualley is going to be in it, Gerard Carmichael, Christopher Abbott, who are all wickedly talented people. They're all going to be part of this like super stacked cast. And so just super pumped for Poor Things. And then there's no plot details on that, but it's written by Yorgos Lanthimos and directed by him, and it's going to have a lot of the same cast, actually. Emma Stone, Margaret Qualley, Willem Dafoe, Jesse Plemons, apparently. So, very cool. Very much looking forward to those. Okay, 8 is a movie called The Actor, which I don't know much about, but it's directed by Duke Johnson, and the only other thing of Duke Johnson's that I've seen is he co-directed Anomalisa with Charlie Kaufman. And Charlie Kaufman is one of my favorite filmmakers, and he's stated when I'm Thinking of Ending Things came out that it might be his final film. We'll see. He's talked repeatedly about not being able to get funding for his movie ideas. He tends to make pretty out there movies that need a lot of money. And so not a lot of studios want to fund him because he's just a little too out there for everybody. Even though he makes banger after banger, whatever. So Charlie Kaufman might not ever make a movie again. We'll see. I hope that's not true. But he is producing or executive producing this movie, and it is directed by the guy who co-directed one of his movies. So, like, in my mind, that's like Duke Johnson is like his like protege or something. That's like how it's working out of my head. I don't know if that's actually how it's gonna be, but if this is the closest I can get to a new Charlie Kaufman movie, I will take it. And so yes, the actor is directed by Duke Johnson. It stars Andre Holland from Moonlight. And the synopsis is, when New York actor Paul Cole is beaten and left for dead in 1950s Ohio, he loses his memory and finds himself stranded in a mysterious small town where he struggles to get back home and reclaim what he's lost. Okay, memory loss, small town, 1950s. Andre Holland, we've got Toby Jones, Gemma Chan, Joe Cole. Yeah, it sounds like it could be that kind of brand of like trippy weirdness. We'll see. Hopefully so. Well, I'm just very excited. Andre Holland is super talented. Okay. Number 7 is The Killer, which is directed by David Fincher. That'll be his next movie. Everybody knows who David Fincher is. Everybody's in the film. Starring Michael Fassbender and Tilda Swinton. Very excited about this new David Fincher crime film. We love to see it. Okay, 6 is Blitz, directed by Steve McQueen. He's doing another historical film about it's a war film, but I don't think it's about like soldiers or anything. I think it's just about like regular citizens. Let me look this up. Blitz follows the stories of a group of Londoners during the events of the British Capitol bombing of World War II. So Steve McQueen makes some of the best movies of recent memory. He, did 12 Years a Slave, Shame, which I think might be my favorite film of his, Hunger, and then he did that Small Axe series a year or two ago. And Widows. I actually really liked Widows. I thought that was very good. But Steve McQueen is a super talented filmmaker, easily one of the best we have today. So to see him doing another big movie, a historical thing, and it stars Saoirse Ronan, that one guy who was in Triangle of Sadness, Harry Dickinson, Aaron Kellyman. I'm very excited to see it. So that's number 6. Number 5 is Challengers, directed by Luca Guadagnino, starring Zendaya and a couple of British guys, I'm pretty sure. I forget their names right now. Mike Feist, he's one of them. He was in West Side Story. Anyways, Yorgos Lanthimos directing Zendaya. Oh my God, I'm so excited for that. It'll be a romance type thing about tennis. Zendaya is like a tennis player, and her ex and her husband, they're like kind of competing against each other, but it's like a love triangle thing in tennis, and it's directed by Luca Guadagnino, who did Call Me by Your Name and Bones and All, which are some of the best romance films to come out in recent memory. He does that shit really well. Actually, just a few days ago, I finished his miniseries, We Are Who We Are. That was also very good. Luca Guadagnino does youth and romance very well, and he just always gets such amazing performances out of his actors. Super excited to see what he does with Zendaya, to be honest, because, like, I love Zendaya, but, like, she was very good in Malcolm and Marie, but like I'm waiting to get that meaty, like juicy Zendaya role that isn't from fucking Euphoria. I want a film role for Zendaya. I'm not a TV guy, I'm a film guy. And I want Zendaya to have a really, really, really good film role. And so that's what I'm hoping Challengers is. Anyways, number 4 is another one that's probably at the top of a lot of people's list. Killers of the Flower Moon, directed by Martin Scorsese. He's doing a movie about crime and some Native American tribes and stuff, and it stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Lily Gladstone, who she was the chick I was saying who was really good in Certain Women, the lady who was really good in Certain Women. Sorry, Jesse Plemons, Robert De Niro. Yeah, it's a Scorsese joint. I'm excited. Whoop-de-doo. 3. One of my personal favorite directors working right now is Mariel Heller. The Diary of a Teenage Girl is one of my favorite movies to come out within the past decade. Can You Ever Forgive Me, I thought was fantastic. Melissa McCarthy gave an amazing performance. I think Mariel Heller does such a great job pulling great performances out of her actors. I think she brings she meets every film with the exact right tone that it needs, and she always just makes very interesting choices as a director, and I think she does really well at making you feel for unlikable characters or characters that would traditionally be unlikable, and bringing a lot of nuance to her characters and how she portrays them. She also did a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, with Tom Hanks's Mr. Rogers. That movie I didn't love, but I will say the best parts of it were a lot of her decisions that she made as a director. I thought, the most interesting shit was shit she was doing for that movie. I think if anything suffered, it was probably the script, which she didn't write. So, love her. And so she has a new movie coming out this year called Night Bitch. Starring Amy Adams, who I also love, and she suspects that she's turning into a dog, so that'll be really cool. It'll be like some of that weird dark humor that we kind of got in like the Diary of a Teenage Girl, so I'm very, very excited for that. And yeah, I'm just pumped to see what Mariel Heller does next. 2, this is another movie that's in pre-production, so we'll see. It's called The Piano Lesson, directed by Barry Jenkins. Love Barry Jenkins. Moonlight was my favorite movie of 2016. If Beale Street Could Talk was my favorite movie of 2018. Absolutely love everything he touches. I really enjoyed The Underground Railroad. Great series. And yeah, so I mean, I'm glad he's doing this because I was kind of bummed he was doing the Lion King movie, and that was just, I was like, fuck, well, I'm gonna have to wait till after that to get a new Barry Jenkins movie that I'm actually looking forward to. But it seems like he's doing this one, and it's an August Wilson play, which we've gotten a few of those recently. I really enjoyed Fences with Denzel Washington, and then Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I didn't enjoy quite as much as Fences, but I thought it was really good. Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman and Coleman Domingo and Glenn, I think, other guy. It's like Glenn Tolman. I'm too lazy to look up right now. Great performances all around, so I'm sure this will be no exception. The Piano Lesson will also have one of my favorite actresses working right now, Danielle Brooks, who I absolutely loved in Orange is the New Black. When I saw her as Tasty in that, I knew she would be, a star. I knew she would be such a great talent going forward. She's an amazing actress, and it seems like with this and with her doing The Color Purple, she's kind of getting a big break here. I know she's done a lot of work on Broadway, so yeah, I'm just excited for people everybody else to see what a talented actor she is. I mean, well, Orange is the New Black was a really popular show, so a lot of people know that. But for her to keep expanding and to go into the film world, yeah, so I'm just really excited about that. Okay, my most anticipated film of 2023 is Barbie. I am so excited for Barbie. Greta Gerwig, Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, the rest of that huge cast. All it really took was that teaser. I mean, I was excited for it before the teaser, but the music is going to be fantastic. The costumes are going to be immaculate. It's going to be such a fun movie. The performances are going to be amazing. Yeah, I thought Lady Bird was a little overhyped, but Lady Bird was a little overhyped in my head. People kept talking about how much they loved it. I was like, it's pretty good. I really liked it. But Little Women went on to be my favorite film of that year, of the year that it came out, 2019. Little Women I thought was amazing, absolutely beautiful. That one deserved more hype, in my opinion. Such a good movie, and it totally sold me on Greta Gerwig as one of the best directors working right now. So, yeah, super excited for Barbie. Okay, those are my most anticipated movies of the year. I've been talking for a while, so I'm going to stop now. All right. Bye, guys.